Hello, my name is Doug Oates with Condor Corporation, and in this demo I'm going to show you how Senergy can manage multiple pieces of storage for a user. So what I'm going to be covering today is what's called an auxiliary policy. So the way this is going to work is that when I create a new user in the Atlanta employees location, I'm going to provision their home folder with Senergy under the Atlanta users home folder share location here, but I also want to create another folder for this user under the HR department in the HR employees folder. Now when this folder is created based on for this user, the user is not going to have any rights, only the HR department. So let's take a look at the policy right quick that's going to be doing this. For the HR employees folder, which is the auxiliary policy, this policy is going to provision the folder out to the HR department employees area, and we're not going to give, the users will not have any rights to it. We're going to make sure the HR department is the owner of this folder, and we're also going to copy in a structure for the HR department to use for managing this user. Now this policy is going to be associated with the home folder policies in each of the locations here. So when I create a user, it's going to create their home folder, but also create a secondary folder for the HR department. Now whenever I delete this user, the HR folder for this user will get moved to a vault location under the HR department share and to a folder, terminated employees folder, and this folder is never cleaned up as a permanent archive, as opposed to the home directory that is set to get cleaned up after a specified time frame. So let's go in, and I'm going to create a new user in Active Directory. So under employees here, I'm going to create Alice Barnes. So when I create Alice, we are going to create a home folder under the Atlanta user area, okay, which is right here, okay. And if we take a look at this policy for the Atlanta home folders, this is the target path, and notice that there are different permissions set up since this is a home folder, as well as different cleanup rules, okay, for what's going to happen when you delete the user. So if I switch back over and take a look at this event, you'll notice that Senergy Event Monitor has picked up on this event for creating this user in the Atlanta location, and is provisioning both the home folder as well as the auxiliary storage. Go ahead and refresh this. Looks like this is done. Now let's take a look at the home folder. Here's Alice Barnes, and we set it up, and we copied some folders in and set that up. Senergy's taking care of that for the home folder policy. And since we have an auxiliary policy linked to this under the HR employees folder, here's A. Barnes' folder, and notice that we set up a folder structure to be managed, including some templates. And if I right click on the A. Barnes folder, what you'll notice is that HR department has permissions to it. However, A. Barnes does not have any rights, so this is only for use by the HR department. Now another thing I'll show you is if Alice gets married, for example, married someone named um, Jones, for example. So I'm going to rename Alice to Alice Jones. So what has to happen when you rename a user is we need to make sure that we take care of renaming these folders, okay, out for both the HR department as well as the home directory, and we need to update the home directory attribute for this user. So let me switch back over and see if we can see this event coming in. It's probably already processed. So I'm going to switch back over, and let's take a look at the folder structure now. Under the HQ area, under the HR department employees, we can see that we've renamed the folder to A. Jones in HR, but also in Atlanta we took care of renaming the home folder for A. Jones as well, okay, and we updated the attribute in Active Directory for that user. Now the next thing I want to show you is what happens whenever I delete this user. So I'm going to delete A. Jones. Now The home folder policy says to move this folder off to the vault location. So it's going to actually get, the home folder is going to get moved to the user vault to the Atlanta location. However, the HR folder, we're going to move it from the active employees to the terminated employees area. So let me go in and see if this event is processing. Looks like it may have already processed. So let's look under the Atlanta home folder area for the vault. There's A. Jones's home folder, where based on the policy it's going to reside for 30 days and then it'll automatically get cleaned up. And then if I look under the employees area, notice A. Jones has now been moved to the terminated area. So I can go ahead and, if I want to, I can go ahead to this home folder and I'll go ahead and do a make eligible. So rather than wait the 30 days, this will clean up the home folder. However, notice we cleaned it up. The HR department folder is a permanent record, and so it will be maintained here indefinitely. So this shows you just an example of how you can use an auxiliary policy and link it to your home folder policies in order to manage multiple folders with different policy settings. Now you can also set an auxiliary policy up that will actually move with the user. So if you needed them to move from one branch office to another, you can actually move that auxiliary policy folder as well. You can get more information on Senergy by going to condricorp.com/Senergy. There you'll be able to download an eval as well as obtain additional documentation. And if you would like for information as far as a quote, please contact sales@condricorp.com. Thank you very much and have a great day.